One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
And we're live from the living room as Doug eyes up the matchday spread. He's reaching for the Buffalo wing. Perfect! Hang on, what's this? Oh, he's gone for a can of Pepsi too! Incredible! What a finish! Sensational combination! Look at the delight on his face. There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a pack of Pepsi Zero Sugar for today's match. It's poetry in motion.
He was the best. He still is the best. He'll always be the best, whether it's Thursdays right here with me, Mondays with Katz and Cosby, his own amazing website, BillO'Reilly.com. Great interviews, great stories. It's really just great television. He writes all these great books, The Killing Series, his book on the presidents, Confronting Evil, new book coming out again late September this year, his News Nation work with Chris Cuomo and Stephen A. Smith, his live shows on the road, and his brand new podcast, which is doing really well, Do It Live, the great Bill O'Reilly. Bill, good morning, buddy. How are you?
So you were gone, and then I read in the paper that you are in the Broadcast Hall of Fame. Is that correct?
Not yet. I'm being inducted in October 22nd at the Rainbow Room, and you need to be there. And I'm not just saying this to patronize you and all that, but when I think of people along the way that got me to this surreal and almost laughable point that I'm going into the Hall of Fame, you're one of those people at the very top of the list. So it is happening, Bill. I know it's crazy. I know you can't believe it, but it really is happening.
But I'm jealous. I mean, I think they have a picture of me and Borelli's on Hempstead Turnpike. But that's as close to any Hall of Fame I've ever gotten.
What?
So I'm very jealous. But if I can be there, I will be there.
Oh, it'll be great.
At the Rainbow Room.
Yes.
Your trip to Israel was good, right? Everything worked out?
It was great. I had the chance to speak with and hang out a bit with Bibi Netanyahu last Sunday. In fact, that last Sunday...
Let me stop you there.
Yeah.
When you say you hang out with Bibi Netanyahu...
That's right.
How does that happen? Do you go bowling? Do you help him with his comb over? What do you do to hang out?
Well, in this particular case, he was only at the Waldorf Astoria for a couple of hours, so we did sat next to each other. We talked. We had a couple of good conversations and took a couple of pictures, that type of thing. But I've done what you're talking about. I've gone for dinners. I've gone to a farm. I've gone to a winery. I've done all of those things in the past with Bibi. But last Sunday, because it was only one venue, it was me, Mike Huckabee, Bibi Netanyahu, Mark Levin. We all hung out together at the Waldorf Astoria. Nice, huh?
Very swell. Who picked up the tab for that?
Not me, jns.org.
Was Bibi paying in crypto?
It was, you're funny, you say crypto, and you mention Bibi, but you know that right now, the liberal media, those lunatic Democrats, all they're talking about is all the money that President Trump and his sons have made in crypto, while everybody else is taking a beating. How was that happening?
Because it's an easy story. I've been trying this week to get people to understand there's the actual story that's happening, and then there's the easy story that you can just, slam somebody you don't like. That's, a 5-year-old can do that. Now, on the Trump situation, we don't really know the extent of his financial dealings because nobody has seen what the losses were. They've seen what the gains were, but not the losses and not who did what. I understand that he established a trust, a revocable trust. That's complicated. I understand that. But he seems to have followed the guidelines that are in place for the president to do business. And Trump's always been a businessman. Now, maybe he did a Hunter Biden and used connections. That's certainly possible. But these people who are reporting on it, they don't know anything. For example, Jared Kushner, who is Trump's son-in-law, spent a lot of dough in Albania. Apparently, Jared wants to make Albania into Coney Island. All
Come
right?
on.
It's not happening, okay? It's not a good idea. The Albanians don't like you, Jared. They don't like anything about you, all right? They'll take your money. You'll never see it again. And we're not going to have Coney Island in Albania. But the Trump organization put a lot of money in there to try to develop that. And so that comes off the top. But it doesn't really matter. The perception is reality, and the perception is that the president of the United States is a grifter, and he's using his position to help his family get money. And so that's what these networks do. They don't care what really happened. They're not spending any time investigating. They don't care.
Yeah. They really don't. And back to the Iran thing for a second. Similar conversations I had this week with John Catsimatidis, who's a very bright guy, obviously, and KT McFarland. They both seem to think we won. We won the war. Everybody else is more like me, which is we've won nothing. We haven't lost anything. I never said we lost the war. Maybe we've got the edge in terms of who's winning, but I'm not near a place at all right now. I'm about to say we won this war. What does Bill O'Reilly think?
Well, there's only one yardstick for victory, and that's weapons inspectors going in on a regular basis to monitor the Iranians trying to make an atom bomb with their enriched uranium.
Right, but if you believe, now forget about Operation Epic Fury. If you believe that Midnight Hammer, and I do believe this, I'm on John's side and KT's side. If you believe that Midnight Hammer destroyed their ability for the centrifuges to even use that uranium, then they're not light years, but they are ways off from enriching that stuff anyway to make a nuclear bomb, thanks to Trump.
That may be true, but it's all classified. And from what I'm hearing, the Iranians had a couple of other uranium sites.
I'm sure.
That weren't hit.
I'm sure.
And, I had a debate with Chris Cuomo, didn't believe anything about the uranium stuff at all. And, I said, look, almost every expert monitors this kind of stuff, concurs that Iran is trying to get a nuclear weapon. This week, they come out and go, hey, we have to have a nuclear weapon because we're going to get attacked. And, now they're saying it themselves. But it's fairly easy to understand if you don't get that component, then you can't say that this thing was worth it. And that's what the American people are looking for.
But then again, John and KT were both very quick to point out all these fantastic economic improvements. The Dow Jones over 52, S&P up. And, again, they're not talking about interest rates are still high and inflation is still high because all you hear is, well, oil is down to much less than it was under Biden. So there seem to be some economic indicators that may, in fact, say it was worth it until we get the dust.
Well, it's not enough to win the midterm elections because it's way too complicated. And most Americans judge the administration by how they are prospering individually.
Agreed.
Trump was smart when he said to the American oil companies, we know you're gouging, and they are. Okay, so you better bring it down. You better bring them down at $2.50 a gallon. Now, the American oil companies are going to take their sweet time because they're in business to take as much money out of O'Reilly and Sid as they can. But the people know that. And so people evaluate, their vote is evaluated by how it is affecting them directly, not macroeconomics. They could teach a course at the Kennedy School at Harvard, and it would be a good course, but that's not going to influence one vote.
I agree with you. That's why, people talk about the Dow Jones. I mean, I'm not saying...
half the country doesn't thinks Dow Jones plays for the Celtics.
Right. It's by the way, it's a lot more than half the country. Like I've been saying all week long, 3/4 of the country, 3/4. If they get to go to one Red Lobster dinner a month, they're doing great. They have no idea what the Dow Jones is.
They're not the investor class.
Correct.
So 2 more points because I know you're tight for time. And if you put me on any later, I'm going to be intruding on the Bo Nerdly show.
I keep telling you, you're doing me a big favor because my 9 o'clock ratings have never been better. Never.
All right, but it's getting later and later and later. I mean, I have to shave twice before I can come on this Sid's radio program. All right, so I'm whining now, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm on News Nation, and tomorrow night, is it tomorrow night? No, today is Thursday. It's tonight. I don't even know when my own stuff is on. Boy, am I delirious. I have a special at 9 o'clock on News Nation about heroes and villains in the Revolutionary War, not the people that you know, okay? The people, and this pertains exactly to today. 50% of the colonists didn't want to leave the king. Okay? They wanted to stay. No matter how he abused the colonists, they were not willing to move out of it. And we have a large segment of the population today that votes for destructive people. So Cuomo was last night was saying, well, the Democrats are going to lock down the midterms. They're going to win the midterms because now we have this money stuff going into Trump, and people aren't going to like that. And I looked at him and I said, what you're not understanding here is that people aren't going to vote, all right, ideology. They're going to vote in November on who's going to protect them from Mamdani, from AOC, from these loons in the New York congressional delegation. Most Americans know this is bad. And they may not like the way that Donald Trump is conducting himself. I think you could make a point that maybe he modifies a little bit, okay? But the threat from the far left, and they're not socialists, they're communists. Every single one of them wants to control the means of production. Now, again, I mean, you teach this stuff in school. People don't know. What does that mean, means of production? Is that a band? Aren't they playing with Santana, means of production? They don't know, but they feel that this malevolency that is rising in the urban centers is not what they want.
God, I hope you're right.
There's only one candidate protecting them from that.
Who's that?
That puts this election in a totally different context.
But what if you're wrong? What if America really is ready to make this crazy? It's crazy. It's they're going to destroy the country.
I just can't imagine it.
Yeah.
I've been to every state, every major city. Once you get out of the big urban areas, which are controlled by the communists, and you're not going to make inroads there, but once you get out into the rural and suburban areas, when you go up to see your concert at Bethel Woods, you're going to have a bunch of liberal people up there, and fine. But the people who live there don't want Mamdani telling them what they can have.
True. I think you're right.
They don't want it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm just, the more and more these people win, the primary elections, again, it was just primary, but I believe they're all going to win anyway come November. What we saw in Colorado a couple nights ago. I mean, Bill, when Hassan Piker, he's a lowlife. He's a podcast host. He was the one that said to Mamdani originally, America deserved 9/11. He's out in the streets of Denver campaigning, Bill. What is that?
Only 20% of the people are voting. The other 80 are sitting it out because it's a primary.
Well, I said this last night. I said, because the same thing happens when it comes to the G, unless they're voting for Trump. Republicans, not you, I know that's not you, but it's me. We need to do a much better job. We bitch, we complain, but we're not voting. 7% voted here last Tuesday. 7% of Democrats, obviously, but are Republicans voting?
They will in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And they will in Florida. And I think the guy in Texas is going to get waxed. The guy who thinks he's got 8 genders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost impossible to pass a voter ID law when you have 8 genders because you got so many, what do you got? You got a big cardboard thing you bring in? Well, when I was 6, I was here. Now I'm Larry, but I was Shirley. But I didn't like Shirley, so now I'm back to Vinny. I'm Vinny now.
Yeah.
And there's the guy, the voting instructor, going, all right, just vote.
Just vote.
Okay?
Right, get out. Just vote and get out.
Right.
Yeah. What has happened? I mean, Bill, but I got to wrap it up. But no one knows the history of this country on this show more than you do. What has happened? Seriously, what's happened?
What's happened is 2 things. Number one, terrible education policies. So people don't understand what communism is. They don't understand. This week is the anniversary of the Korean War, 1950. They don't know what the Korean War is. They don't know why it was fought. They don't know why Vietnam was fought. They don't know what the Cold War was. They don't know anything about Stalin or Marx. They don't know anything.
I can prove that to you. My son Gabriel, who loves you, you love him. He goes to high school in New York City. All they teach him about, Bill, I'm not lying, civil rights and slavery. Nothing about World War II, Vietnam, Korea, all the things you just mentioned. They never learn about that stuff, ever.
Even the Revolutionary War and the 4th of July, which is why we're doing the special tonight.
Right.
Because people don't know anything about it. But that's what they're teaching in New York City is victimization. They want your son to believe that he is a victim of white men like Trump who are making billions in crypto. That's what that's what the television networks do. And the second factor is parents. So the parents are spending all their time on the phone or on a golf course or whatever. They're not sitting their kid down for discussions about their country. It's the 4th of July, 250. Did you talk to your kid about this? All right. Does he know anything about it? Does he know the sacrifice and blood and treasure?
No. None.
His fellow Americans,
no.
For freedom?
No.
And that's the parental. So the parents delegate all of their responsibility to be a good citizen, all right? And the education system in the urban areas are telling every kid that they're a victim.
You're right. Well, you just nailed it.
That's why
Yep.
you see this rise. You're seeing this rise because they don't know what the consequences are of not having enough police. They don't know that Mandani wants to control where you live, what you eat. Food is next.
Yep.
All right, he'll slap so many regulations on the grocery stores because he wants you to buy food from the city. This is what communism is. The central government controls everything. And then the wealth tax is coming. We're going to just seize your private property. We're going to steal it from you.
Oh, my God.
Do you think these kids know that?
None of it. No, they don't.
You take their phone and they're going to be upset.
Right.
So Mandami will probably leave that for last.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down with my kids because they've asked. They want to know more about 9/11. It's coming up in a couple of months, a 25-year commemoration. They asked. I was on the air that day. Danielle was working right by the Empire State Building. They asked. But these kids, Revolutionary War, even 9/11, only 25 years ago, no idea. And for the most part, they don't care. And you're right, education and parents. You're an amazing, amazing guy, Bill O'Reilly. I couldn't love you more than I do. Thank you so much. It's a great appearance. Thank you.
Okay, say hello to the Doobie Brothers for me.
I will. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing Saturday? You going to read the Declaration of Independence with the kids or what?
Well, we're out in eastern Long Island, and we're I know you can't, but we've got a little open house going on, and a lot of patriots there.
Nice.
And I did invite Mandani, but He said, I will come if I can run the entire party, including what everybody wears.
Yeah, that's him.
And I said, no, I don't think we're going. No, that's a little bit too much, Mr. Mayor. Thanks.
Yeah, that's him, though. That's what he wants to do. Bill, you're great. I love it. Yeah, I know. Have fun out there on Saturday. We'll do it again next week, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right. You too, Sid. Thanks for having me.
God bless you. It's my man. I love him. Bill O'Reilly.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.